Hey guys, so in today's video I'm going to show you how to set up your SketchUp file as well as how to navigate through the different tools that SketchUp has to offer. So when you open SketchUp, it'll give you different templates to use, as well as if you've used it before, it'll pull up the different files that you have worked on previously. So the two templates that you'll most likely use is going to be the simple template in inches or the architectural template in inches. Make sure that it's one of these, because the other ones have the same name, but it specifies meters, millimeters, centimeters. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose the simple template. So once you have this window appear with the simple template, the first toolbar that'll appear is this Getting Started toolbar. And then you'll see up here is the menu tab. So you have File, Edit, View, Camera, Draw, Tools, Windows, Extensions, and Help. And then over here on the left, you have your default tray that appears, and you have a bunch of different tabs that you can use. Right here's the Instruction tab, which appears whenever you draw something new. It'll give you instructions for how to manipulate that object. You have your different scenes, which I'll go in depth into later, as well as shadows, layers, different styles that you can use within your modeling window, components, which I'll talk about later, materials, and entity info. So whenever you draw something new, information will fill this tab. So in order to add more toolbars, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. So over here in your menu bar, you can go to View, Toolbars, and it will give you all of the different toolbars that SketchUp includes. So you can select, typically you'll want to select the large tool set, and then you can select any other ones that you might need for your project. If you have the Inkscape extension, I would recommend adding that toolbar as well. Another way you can add toolbars is through right-clicking on this ribbon, and then the toolbars will appear, and then if you want more, you can go back to toolbars up here. So I'm just going to add a couple of more. These are the typical ones that you would want to include, the sections. If you're creating a room or a house or a hotel, you might want to use sections in order to create elevation or section views. And then this solid tools bar is great for manipulating objects. So you can intersect objects, you can union them, you can subtract objects from each other, you can trim, and you can split them. So to navigate your interface on your mouse, you have your scroll button. So you can either zoom in and out by just scrolling on your scroll button, or you can press down on the scroll button and move your mouse around to orbit. You can also press Shift and press down on your scroll button, and that'll let you pan around the model. There's also these tools up here that are similar to what I just showed you. So there's this orbit button or icon that you can select to orbit, the pan button, the zoom button. Whenever you press this regular zoom button, you can press and scroll and move your mouse outward or inward to zoom in. And then this button, Zoom Extents, will zoom into your whole model just to include whatever you have drawn so far. Over here in your large tool set that we added, you can also do a zoom window, so you can just select where you want to zoom specifically and it'll do that. You can also zoom to previous. So those are your different zoom, orbit, and pan options. Another thing you can do in SketchUp is instead of deleting objects, you can hide them. So that way if you're drawing something and another object or wall or person or entourage is getting in the way, you can hide them. So here we have the entourage that comes with the SketchUp, and you can right click on that entourage and hide them. And then if you want to bring back that object or whatever the geometry you hid, you can go to your View tab, select Hidden Geometry, and then right click and unhide that object. So to explain these axes, these come preloaded. This is going to be your origin point, and if you don't want to see these, maybe you want to take a screenshot or download an image, these could get in the way. And to hide those, you can once again go to your View tab and unselect axes, and you won't see those anymore. You can also go to View and change the style of your objects by selecting face styles. So you could do X-ray, you could do wireframe. There's different options depending on what you want it to look like. You can also manipulate the edge style. You can turn off edges altogether. You can do a depth cue. There's just different styles for that depending on how you want your object or project to look like. Some of the other, so if you have Enscape, for example, it'll appear here. I have V-Ray. If you want to go to download furniture, you can go to 3D Warehouse and this window will appear. And you can search different furniture, different house models, different medical equipment, anything that you would think that would go into your project. It doesn't have everything, but it has a lot of different options. Under your tools, you have basically what appears when you're getting started in large tool set in here. You also have the option just to show dimensions like you do here, 3D text. So everything that appears here and here you can get under the tools menu bar. You can also select draw to draw lines, which will appear in your large tool set or getting started toolbar. In camera, you once again have the tools that appear in the menu bars we have, like orbit, pan, and zoom, but you also have your camera views. So right now we're in perspective. We can also go to parallel projection. Sometimes it's easier to draw in this because the lines don't get skewed. We went over the view, toolbar, and edit. You can do undo, select, unhide, and in file is where you go to save your project. So to save your project as a SketchUp file, you can go to save as, and you can name your project, and then under save as type, you can save your model into different SketchUp versions. So if you're moving to a different computer and it only has a 2017 or 2016 version, you would want to save it in that version. You can also export the file as a 2D graphic, and you can save it as a JPEG, as an AutoCAD file, PDF. And also under File, you can go to Export and export it as a 3D model. And this gives you options to save it as a 3ds file, once again an AutoCAD file, IFC, Google Earth file, STL file, which we'll talk about for 3D printing. So it gives you a variety of different options. So, and that's how you navigate through your SketchUp file, as well as your SketchUp project.